What's going on, Reject Nation? We're gonna watch today from Marvel 616 official trailer for Disney Plus. I don't know, it's Marvel, so you gotta watch it because it's Marvel. Marvel!
Stan always said that the Marvel Universe is the world outside your window. And that the people can find characters they could see themselves in.
Bringing a piece of art to life, it's difficult to not put yourself into the work.
Docu-series.
We were artistic rebels.
8
I can't even
stories.
imagine the impact that had.
Birds of Prey in the background.
Knock your socks off.
Hey,
Yeah.
that guy's a great writer.
People really believed women weren't reading comics that inspired us to do more. Cosplay is being
Oh, this is so cool. I love this. This is really cool.
Nobody else had ever done this before.
Fearless storytellers.
I killed Spider-Man.
What? That's insane.
the Marvel Sparklet
Ah.
program. It's a collection of stage plays written for high school.
I never thought I could make a living drawing.
Yo creo que siempre quise ser dibujante de cómics, pero siempre pensé que iba a ser imposible.
The Japanese Spider-Man is totally different from
Yes! Japanese Spider-Man, reign on!
Toys. Superheroes connect us.
It's one big epic story.
It's about how we became who we are. It's about us.
About the influence and
How
innovations of Marvel.
culture was impacted by the greatness of Marvel.
How nerds everywhere were galvanized.
The movies made a big part of it, especially in today's culture, but I love that they're really going back to the historical roots. Man, I wish Stan Lee was in this.
I mean, they'd have to have some archival footage at the very least.
I mean, I imagine they shot this after his passing, though. So yeah, of course there'll be some archival footage. But I think I saw my notifications and they went up for Cosmic Wonder in regards to this video, and so I feel like he'll probably have a little bit more insight. So I kind of want to watch what he has to say.
How's it going, everybody? It's Warren. Welcome back to my channel, The Cosmic Wonder, and today Marvel released their Marvel 616 official trailer. Now, this is actually going to be a very exciting new series coming to Disney Plus, and hopefully a very impactful one to our community. Marvel 616 is going to be about how comic book characters and, of course, comic books influenced people in their real lives. So the show is essentially about our community. It's about us, and I'll break down what exactly we're going to see in this new Disney Plus series, including what to expect from each episode. And this is confirmed to be 8 episodes long. So to start off with its title, it's kind of funny because they call it Marvel 616. Now, in the
The
comics,
Marvel Earth.
616 is the main
one.
Marvel universe where everything really takes
I
place.
got that.
But
I
it's
got
also
that.
used to show the Marvel
the
Universe's
only thing I'll
place
know.
inside of a larger universe, a multiverse, which is what this show is about, what Marvel's place is in our world. So episode 1 is quite possibly going to be one of the coolest episodes ever. It's going to be about Japanese Spider-Man.
Yes!
This is something that not a lot of people
Japanese
may have
Spider-Man.
heard before or even seen. In 1978, Marvel struck a deal with Japanese TV giant Toei to adapt the company's most popular superhero for Japanese audiences. Now, this Spider-Man is something that we've never really seen before here in the US. It involved a really giant robot, a really cool car, but most importantly, it became a really important influence on Japanese pop culture. And this first episode is going to tell the story and show footage of Japanese Spider-Man that probably a lot of people haven't seen before. The second episode is titled
How
Higher,
cool.
Further, Faster, and it's going to be directed by Gillian Jacobs from the show
Community.
Community that the Russo brothers directed. And it's going to introduce the viewers to women who have played important roles in Marvel's history. The third episode is titled Amazing Artisans, and it's going to focus on 2 international Marvel artists, Javier Garron and Natasha Bustos, who live in Barcelona and use their life experiences to influence their work on popular young superheroes like Miles Morales and Moon Girl. Episode 4 is titled Lost and Found, and this is going to be kind of an interesting episode because they're going to explore the most obscure, the most wild, and forgotten Marvel characters. The 5th episode is actually
Like
pretty cool.
Spider-Man.
It's titled Suit Up, and it's going to be about cosplay. Specifically, it's going to be about interviews with cosplayers and people who are attending New York Comic-Con for the very first time. So if you're wondering what New York Comic-Con is like, or you're trying to get your taste of it since it's been canceled this year, this episode is for you. Yes, NYCC
Probably
is still
exactly
online,
what
but
you
you
thought
can't
of
go
it
to
as.
it and walk around and dress up like you normally do. Episode 6 is titled Unboxed and is actually going to go over the relationship between comics and toys. And they're going to explore when and how sometimes toys influence the comics and comics influence the toys. And a lot of you will like this. They'll be going over Marvel
sounds like
Funko
a
Pops.
really fascinating
Episode 7 is
documentary
titled
series.
The Marvel Method, and it's going to take a close look at the creation of the new Iron Man 2020 comic. They're also going to show us the historical background and development on the Marvel Method as it was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. And the last episode, the 8th episode, is titled Marvel Spotlight. Now, it's interesting because this is going to be directed by Allison Brie. So as it turns out, she was meeting with Marvel about a project. It just wasn't She-Hulk. But it's going to follow a group of students at Florida's Brandon High School as they
Fascinating.
put on a performance of the new Marvel Spotlight plays. And they'll talk about just how much the Marvel characters mean to them and influence them in everyday life. And that's what we're going to get from this new series. No, it's not a series connected to the MCU, but it's a real life series. It's about how Marvel affects us, our community, so it's going to be a pretty cool show. I'm definitely watching it, and I hope everybody else enjoys it as well. This comes out on December 20th on Disney+, so let me know in the comments down below if you are going to be watching it. Of course, I'm still doing my Funko Pop giveaway. This week, we're giving away a Cyclops Funko Pop. All you gotta do to enter is subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment down below. For live updates, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.
That was really informative. That was more
yeah.
informative than the trailer.
Very clear breakdown of this entire series.
Really well done, Warren. Damn, that was pretty.
dude.
Like, oh, that's what every episode's gonna entail. Where'd you find all that information? Is it just on their website?
Is there a press release? Did you read the press release?
I totally missed all that. I love that Japanese Spider-Man's getting an opportunity to really shine, finally. He's slowly been creeping his way back into the spotlight.
Ever since, Italian Spider-Man became the meme that it is, I think it's inspired people to look outside of the States.
Well, I think with that, I remember Honest Trailers did Japanese Spider-Man I think sometime last year, 2 years ago. Now we gotta get Japanese Spider-Man included into the Spider-Verse.
Dude, it'll happen is the thing if this really puts it back into the cultural consciousness.
But I think it's weird that they're actually starting with Japanese Spider-Man, maybe because is that like the first live action adaptation or something like that they've ever done of Spider-Man? I mean, yeah, he's a beloved character, he's Spider-Man, so I think that makes sense to start off with, because everything else that they said of the trajectory of what this documentary series will do kind of just makes a lot more sense to me in that order of how it starts like way in the past to coming to today. But the beginning is Japanese Spider-Man, which just seems a little odd.
It's very niche for a show about the breadth of the Marvel cinematic, comic book, everything universe. Yeah.
But I like that they're going to be exploring more. This seems to be going into the effect Marvel has had ultimately, and beyond even just Marvel, just in terms of comic book mediums and how it's influenced culture, and going into, like they said about the women who were reading comics and how they seemed like they didn't have a voice in comics. You can't do one of these without exploring the levels of cosplay, which weirdly seems like the least interesting one to me.
Because there's been so much exposed about it, and it's been so heavily featured through so much media now that, there's not as much of a mystery behind it, although I'm sure they can come up with a cool angle about it,
I imagine so. But what I also really appreciated is, and I'm sure the cosplay one will have more of the movie inclusion side of it, this doesn't seem like it's only riffing on the MCU films to remind you about the MCU movies. This is mainly about the creation of the characters and how it's influenced us. And I think that's actually a really beautiful approach to take for this series, as opposed to like, yeah, I know, I've seen all the behind the scenes on the movies. I know how impactful they are. I get it, but this actually actually seems different, and I'm glad this trailer has so many views too.
Yeah.
Because it's not one of their, Disney Plus original shows like WandaVision or something. It is a Disney Plus original series, but it's very much a documentary like. But I wonder how many people clicked on it thinking it was going to be something different.
Easter eggs, what are the Easter eggs? Yeah, but that does seem like a really cool aspect to it, is that it seems like it's going to be focusing in on the people who have been shaped by and then have helped to shape the Marvel Universe. Getting profiles on specific artists and things like that, and yeah, especially like the women who were, finally incorporated and were able to, guide some of the creative side of this. Like, that stuff feels very interesting because also you can trace history back that way too. I'm sure that there are historical moments of, certain writers being hired and affecting certain storylines and stuff like that. And that seems like a really cool thing to explore here as well. It seems very human and very alive.
I just think the one thing that was kind of missing for me to make this a little bit more compelling, everything seems about celebration. And I don't know how much celebration of 8 episodes I could watch. I need something that represents some type of dramatic stakes. Something that represents certain obstacles I had to overcome. You can't make women characters or something,
I'm sure.
You gotta have that. Or what, you killed Spider-Man? You can't do that. Like, really explore the drama and going against the grain on things. Something that represents some edge, because right now this all feels very celebratory, which is appropriate and fine. I just feel like if I'm gonna commit to 8 episodes, I'd want it to be more than just, yay! I want some of those stakes in there somewhere.
You don't want it to be a fluff piece. You want it to actually have some kind of meat on its bones that's enriching to watch, not just like, oh yeah, I like Marvel too.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, what do you think about this? Are you excited for Marvel 616? Leave your thoughts down below. Thanks, Warren, for putting together that extra piece of info that really broke everything down. Subscribe to The Real Rejects. Subscribe to Cosmic Wonder while you're at it, too. Click the notification bell. Last but not least, Patron of the Day shout out.
Pete Dunn, you are our last patron of the day this month, and I just wanted to give you some love, because if anyone brings a little light into our lives, and this is a show that's all about exploring the light that has been shed by Marvel, you're that hero for us. I wanted to hope that you feel appreciated and loved this month, and every month, but especially this month, because, we're cresting from the hot, sweltering, burnt-up summer into what's hopefully maybe a better fall, and it's a dawn of a new day. I'm just thinking about you and hoping you're well, and much love, buddy. Be well.
Take care, bud.